Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former Republican governor of California, in a long ex-post endorsing Harris, saying, quote, "We need to close the door on this chapter of American history, and I know that former President Trump won't do that. He will divide, he will insult, he will find new ways to be more un-American than he already has been, and we the people will get nothing but more anger."
Let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger, another very...
Say that name again, Luke?
I said it correctly. English is my second language.
Same,
all right?
Luke,
Stop picking on me, Martha.
Schwarzenegger,
The Terminator.
Stop picking on me. I'm an immigrant, Martha. How dare you?
Same, Luke, same. But some of us learn the language.
Listen, I'm a product of a New York City public education system, and it shows. But
you're right. I learned how to speak in Venezuela. So cheers
yes.
to the third world country.
I learned in Brooklyn, New York, in the '90s, and they didn't teach me anything.
Hugo Chavez
they
is
didn't
her
even
uncle.
teach me my ABCs.
No, please. No. Nope.
But anyway, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did I say that correct? Is that all right, Martha?
It's better.
Is that better? A man who, by the way, has a lot of ties to actual Germans in the 1930s. This guy also wore insignia, specifically highlighting skull and bones from the Germans in the 1930s. This guy said a lot of weird things about people who were a part of Germany in the 1930s. I confronted, by the way, Arnold Schwarzenegger before, and I asked him, let's talk about your ties to the Germans in the 1930s and all the horrible things that they did under their fascistic government. He, of course, dodged those questions, didn't want to answer them. But if we're going to be connecting anyone to the Germans in the 1930s, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the person you directly connect to with his crazy, salacious comments that he previously made before with his adoration for people that actually took the lives of other individuals under that fascistic regime. I should pull up the quotes of what Arnold Schwarzenegger did and represented before. If my producer's watching, if you could help me find some of them, that'll be great. I might be inclined to even show my old confrontation with him because he really didn't like me questioning about his allegiance to this.
Old Luke is like badass Luke.
Yeah.
I like old Luke.
But Arnold Schwarzenegger came out and said that he is backing Kamala Harris. Why is he backing Kamala Harris?
As a Republican, no less.
He's not a real Republican.
Not really. He's like
but didn't he run in California on like an environmental kind of shtick? Like, isn't that his background?
He's a commie-Fordian, and he absolutely is also a larger kind of proponent of eugenics, population control, a lot of weird stuff when it comes to Arnold, who isn't just a movie star. There's a lot of other deeper, more sinister roots that he has that, of course, the corporate media won't be talking about now, but should be talking about, especially with his larger political endorsement. This is what he just had to say.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, the former Republican governor of California, in a long ex-post endorsing Harris, saying, quote, "We need to close the door on this chapter of American history, and I know that former President Trump won't do that. He will divide, he will insult, he will find new ways to be more un-American than he already has been, and we the people will get nothing but more anger." John, Arnold
He's an
Schwarzenegger-
establishment puppet.
Yeah, I think he might have mixed up the political lines here because last I've seen, it's Joe Biden that's insulting Donald Trump's supporters, not Donald Trump himself here. But the reason he's doing it is because of the insults. That's what the other side is doing.
I would
That's not
love
what
to
Donald
see
Trump's
him
doing.
in his prime against you. I think you destroy him.
Oh, yeah. I'd make him quit and tap out so quick. He's such a little beta. He had to do steroids his whole life. And didn't he knock up like his nanny or something like
Yes,
that?
he
Yeah.
Why are
Yeah.
we taking
Yeah.
any, information that he's putting out there and taking it with a grain of salt? That guy's just not a good human being.
Also, he wasn't a fighter. He was a bodybuilder.
I know.
It's very different sport. I mean, you look at bodybuilders. They
Yeah,
can't
but he
like put their
thought
arms
he,
down.
he, he,
Exactly.
he thinks he's
Can't
tough, and
move.
I'd love to see Colby, put him in his place back in the day.
You just
Would
want to
love
use
that.
Kobe. You're like, Kobe, can you go after this guy? Kobe, come on, let's go.
Well, I just don't like these evil people who pretend that they're good. And Colby's a good soul. He's a good guy.
Where would you
can
put Kobe
tell.
in the government?
Oh, I mean, I'd put him in charge of protecting everybody.
Let's go. Where would you put him? Like, protecting what?
Protecting the president. I think he'd be great for that. I think he's good for. He's a very smart guy too. He's not just a fighter. I mean, he's a versatile guy.
I think we need to start with like every level of the government, and like he first needs to go clean out, like, let's say the NIH, like, Fauci. Boom, gone.
I want him
let's
to
go.
torture all these people and say, hey man, what dirt do
tarring.
they have on you?
Non-violence.
Forget
is
tarring
the way
and
to
feathering.
not do this.
Forget tarring and feathering the politicians that we don't agree with. We'll just stick Colby on them.
I just want to find the dirt on all these politicians. I think Colby's the great guy to find out all the dirt.
Hang them upside their
Interrogator of Diddy, I think, would be something that might be potentially considered. But here's the picture of Arnold's nanny that he had an affair with, which a lot of people are definitely questioning his decision on that, as he cheated on Maria Shriver. And we're trying to pull up some of the quotes here. But yeah, a lot of people aren't really happy with Arnold right now. But we could also ask Colby what he wants to do as well. Like, we don't have to speculate.
Colby's not corrupt, so he wants to do what's right. You know, these guys are obviously corrupt. I mean, you can tell what they're saying. It just sounds very disingenuous.
Yeah. Are you going to move on to politics? You kind of hinted to that in your opening. So is this where, is there anywhere else for you to go in sports? And are you going to come over to the politics side? Come join us in the dark side.
I mean, there's definitely a strong possibility. At one point in your life, you have to figure out when it's the next chapter, and that time could be coming up. But I'm going to let the people decide that. I'd love to serve the people and fight for the people. I've been fighting for myself my whole life, but now I'd like to stand up for the people. My grandfather flew in the in the Air Force, and he was in the Korean and Vietnam War, so I know what it is to fight and to fight for constitutional amendments that he protected, as a serviceman. So we got to stand up for our service, and so I'd love to serve the people. And if I could get into a position like that, I would definitely take that.
Awesome.
You're too trustworthy. They don't know if they'd allow you to come in. You're not corrupt enough.
He needs the Diddy tapes. He needs to go to Epstein Island first,
Yeah, right?
No, please don't.
No, I wouldn't do it. But I can't be bought. I've made good money in the UFC thanks to Uncle Dana White. He's the greatest promoter in sports history, and he doesn't put a muzzle on any of his athletes. So that's the beauty of the UFC is they let everybody speak their mind freely, and they're not going to muzzle you like some of these other organizations like Roger Goodell or the basketball leagues where all the owners and commissioners are telling you what you can and can't say. Like, for example, what we were just talking about with Bosa. Now they're going to fine him. How are they going to fine him for having a political opinion? He believes in freedoms. He believes in Trump, and he thinks he's the man of the future. So
they wouldn't even show Trump when he was at the game, and they showed Taylor Swift all day.
Oh, yeah, like 20 times.
It reminds me of like
Ridiculous,
Ennis Cantor Freedom, who changed his name to Freedom, a Turkish citizen who came over, played basketball for I'm going to butcher this. I think it's the Celtics.
Oh, I know you're talking about Enes Kanter.
Enes Kanter.
Yeah, and
he was on the Knicks, maybe? I forget.
No, it's like Celtics. It's like a green.
He's been on a bunch of
He
teams.
played a couple teams.
Yeah, but he was talking about the issue with the Uyghurs in China, and they canceled him. They removed him. Actually, the jacket I'm wearing, he's the one that signed it. It says freedom in the back, and he signed it at a conference because I think it's so cool when athletes speak their mind.
Dana White is the reason for that. Dana White believes in free speech. He's also a very smart man. He's endorsed Trump. He's not corrupt. He's not bought and paid for.
Yeah, we'll get into the larger cultural aspects of this. But just to finish off the topic about Arnold, we also have to remember that it was not so long ago where he literally said, screw your freedoms, when asked directly about people's own personal, private medical health choices that they were forced and manipulated to, of course, go against. So truly, he is a fascist, in my opinion, and also he adored fascist, as of course I just now found his original kind of tweet endorsement, and I decided to quote him and his larger admiration for the German 1930s funny mustache guy. Yep, Arnold said it himself, that, quote, I philosophize that only a few men are born to lead, while the rest of humanity is born to follow, and went from that into discussing history's greatest conquerors and dictators. Schwarzenegger writes in his book, I admired the funny mustache guy from Germany, speaking ability, though not what he did with it. Again, he reiterated, I, quote, admired the funny mustache guy because he, quote, came from being a little man with almost no formal education up to power, Schwarzenegger said. So yeah, that's the guy that is now endorsing Kamala Harris. What a surprise there.
He's a sicko.
Yeah.
Imagine and like realistically writing it in your book, like feeling it and being like, you know what, I admired that guy.
I love Terminator 2. It was one of my favorite movies growing up.
His father was also a big SS guy. And then you saw Arnold Schwarzenegger literally wear an insignia of the SS on his belt. when he was a grown adult, not as a child. So there's a lot of weird connections here that Arnold has to answer for, that if you're a part of the independent media, you're now going to him and being like, hey, we need to really find out who's the one who adores that funny mustache guy here, if we're going to accuse Donald Trump of doing that.
He doesn't have a soul. I mean, you can feel it. Don't you just feel he's soulless?
Yeah.
And I mean, I grew up like he was saving Sarah Connor, one of my favorite movies. I mean, Terminator 2. Come on, we all love that movie. And it just breaks my heart that he just seems like he just feels something.
He's also
off.
part of the Kennedy family, and now we have part of the Kennedy family with RFK.
His ex-wife was part of the town hall where we brought up to Mike Benz the other day when we said, okay, like, can you ask any questions? She's like, no, they're all pre-scripted.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, now that we have RFK on this team, whatever that's supposed to mean, like there's a family divide going on here.
I need you to find Arnold. Colby.
I would love to find him. And I mean, to all the undecided voters out there, this is the guy that's your role model. This is the guy you want to take advice from who you're going to vote in this election. I mean, that's just wrong on you. You should get out there and do the research, find out the facts, find out the truth.
So yeah, that's happening. As of course, I've been telling people to prepare for a very long time. I just released a video about how to prepare on lookundfiltered.com, a special secret, not so secret society where you get to join a lot of really cool, awesome people and be a part of the larger conversations that no one else really has. I go deep down the rabbit hole. I talk about my personal decisions. I talk about things that I do in my life that I am using information on in order to, of course, better it. And that's the information that I try to share with you in order to help promote, build, grow, and expand our human consciousness, wealth, prosperity, and liberty. Freedom is in your hands if you decide to act on it in the proper way. And I've built lookundfiltered.com 12 plus years of behind the scenes videos just on that basic model alone of trying to give you the tools, the information, the seed oil cards, the crap list of items you should be avoiding at the supermarket. That's all available for members of lookundfiltered.com. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Signing up is key, it's crucial, and it's more important than ever. Sign up right now, lookundfiltered.com. It's quick, it's easy, it's simple. You go here, and whatever your budget allows, I know times are hard, but for just $8, 20 cents a day, you could sign up right here, click it, and then you just put in a little bit of information. You get emailed back a login, you log in, and you get a lot of really awesome values that are a lot more valuable than Netflix. You have a choice. You want to do Netflix or you want to do lookundfiltered.com. Make that choice. Vote with your dollars, vote with your clicks. Start to decide your own life path right now. 3 master classes that will teach you some really incredible skills. Do you want to sit there and be glazed by the satanic, evil, corporatist, demonic propaganda that plays on your subconscious and emotional, psychological weaknesses? Or do you want to be uplifted and, of course, enlightened and given information that a lot of powerful people don't want you to have? That decision is yours, and it starts with you signing up to lookundfiltered.com. Sign up there right now, and I will see you there right after this broadcast. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you signing up to lookundfiltered.com. And because you do, this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.